Drag racing fan, Monday morning racer here, not in studio, not at the track. We're in, as I have been affectionately calling it, the chicken coop. We're going to be live with Leslie Horne, the 2022 A-Gas champion, the driver of the Chick Magnet. There you see him here. You're going to see him on camera before long. The car's in the background. We're at the shop doing a live on Tuesday night, special Tuesday night, for Monday Morning Racer and Between the Slicks. So, happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you out there. Have a Merry Thanksgiving. That's why we're doing this on a Tuesday night. Who wants to come and talk about drag racing on a Thursday night after you've been filled with all the turkey and the dressing? It's dressing, by the way. It's not stuffing. Dressing and all the other goodies that you can get to have on Thanksgiving. Well, I don't think many of you would be able to show up because we'd probably all be asleep with all the turkey and all the carbs and everything else that you get to have on Thanksgiving. Nonetheless, I hope that you, the viewer, have a great, happy, merry, wonderful Thanksgiving this year in 2022. About to have Leslie Horne on here Between the Slicks, the 2022 A-Gas champion in the Southeast Gassers Association. And this will start, which is my plan, to have every champion of the Southeast Gassers Association come on tonight. Not tonight, excuse me. Well, we can't do that tonight, but in nights to come. So next week, Thursday, reach out to Colby Welch. Maybe we'll have him on, the B-Gas champion. Tim Hall, we'll chat with him once again as the champion in C-Gas, all the way to Superstock with Rick Varner. We want to talk to all these winners, these champions of 2022 in Southeast Gassers Association competition, because they've got stories worth telling. And though they might not have the platform that a John Force does, what they're doing in drag racing is spectacular. The competition in Sega is great, and it's worth taking the time to talk to you all with them and get their story, because they are likable characters and they are doing great things on the drag strip, and I think in the Southeast Gassers Association definitely showcasing what is in essence reenacting of drag racing history right in the modern day. So without any further jibber jabber, I'm going to take a break. And after the break, we're going to have Mr. Leslie Horne on, and we're going to talk about the 2022 run to win in A-Gas competition in the Southeast Gassers Association. Right after this word from, well, Destroyer 1320. If you've got a modern muscle car, you do not want it stolen, and he has got the solution for you. If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your central console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System TDS and steal the thieves' hope. Folks, again, in the chicken coop, you can see the Chick Magnet there behind me. Right there is the 2022 champion, Leslie Horne. Leslie, look, thank you for the opportunity to come in shop, talk to you, and enjoy the facilities, see all the trophies, looking at these big trophies, and you having a lot of wins and championships, because this is not your first championship in the Southeast Gassers Association. Before we talk about this one, what about that one? What did it take to get that first one in C-Gas? Was it in the Stud Muffin?
It was in the Stud Muffin wagon. Yeah, that was in 2019. 2018 was the first year that I went to a race with Southeast Gassers. I went to Myrtle Beach, as some of y'all have heard the story. Messed around and blew my motor up there. Gene went and fixed it. We came back. In 19, we come back strong. We had a good year in 19. One of my first race, the last race of the year, I think it was in 2018, I believe it was, and we had to finish it up Shadyside. So it wasn't the last race. It was Carolina Aiken, House of Hook. So then that rolled over into 19. 19 started out, I think I won 3 or 4 races in 19, and I ended up getting the championship in 19 in Stud Muffin and C-Gas. So then after in 20, decided to jump to A-Gas. And you look up there on the board, there is no cups for 2020. It was a learning experience for me. Didn't have no wins in 2020. Runner-up, bridesmaid several times, but no cup.
No cup in 2020. Obviously, rolling the 2021, different story. 2022, several wins, championship. What was the biggest learning curve from no wins to a championship?
2021, when we went into 2021 season, we started out, had a good season. I got on a roll there, Lee, and I think I won 3 or 4 races in a row, just back to back to back. I was on a good roll there, and then I think Gabe finally took it away from me at Knoxville. So me and Gabe was back and forth. This is in 2021. He would take it, I would take it. He would take it, I would take it. We went into Shadyside. I had 10 points, 2-round lead going in, and messed around and just fell asleep on the tree and just got out running, gave it away, and Gabe was able to capitalize on that. That's the reason why he was a champion in 2021.
2022. What were your thoughts going into this season? Was it, this is the one, I've got to get it? Or did it go into a few races and you're like, oh, this is the best shot I've ever had? Where was the confidence going in to the season?
There wasn't really no confidence to begin with because, as most of you know, I had COVID real bad. My son had COVID real bad and was really sick. So the first race was at Reynolds, Georgia. We got down there, and it's the first time I'd been out of the house. I'd been on steroids. I was blowed way up. I was huge. I put on 20-something pounds. And we went down there, and it was raining, the wind, it was cold. Then the track had an issue. But on Sunday, when I made a real good pass, the car was just really fast. And I think if we would have had a race there, I think I could have probably pulled it off. And that gave me a lot of confidence there. And then we went to Shadyside, which is our home track, and the car, Brian Harris had the car just working flawlessly. I mean, it couldn't do nothing wrong. I couldn't do nothing wrong. I've been practicing on my Christmas tree. I got one of those little porter trees. The worst light I cut all night on that race there at Shadyside was an 073, and that was the worst one. I cut a couple of 0-teens, like 018, 019. So, you know, that was hard to compete with as good as my car was running, the way it was working. It was just my night that night. So
you dropped a name there. Fill us in on the crew. Who helps make the Chicken Magnet the 2022 A-Gas winning car and you the winning driver?
There is so many people. We've got, Pat and Mike at Ram Clutch. They help me with my clutch, do a great job. Naturally, Stacy Hall, Gene Fulton does my engines for me. Roby at G-Force does transmissions. Andy does my rear ends and center chunks and stuff for us, does a great job. But when it comes down to the crew, you have Logan Horne, which is my son, who goes to some. He didn't get to go to as many this year as we would like for him to get to go. We're just glad he's got to go to the ones he has. We got Brian Harris, who does the tuning and stuff on the chassis of the car. I just let him do it. I don't really ask no questions. He just says what he wants to do, and he don't have to tell me. I tell him I'm going to drive it regardless of what it does. His wife, Robin, who has started doing some backup duties for us too, but she was the film girl that filmed the tires, filmed what the car was doing, which is a huge, huge help in these cars getting them down the track. Then we got Bob. Bob has went to every race with me. Carburetor Bob, everybody knows him. He's famous in the carburetor world, and he goes with me. And his wife, Kathleen, helps a lot, and that pretty well rounds up my crew as far as the people that goes with me. Then you got, the people that helps you at the track, all the fellow racers. Is just about every Southeast Gasser is about a crew member. So I don't know how to explain it, Lee, how Southeast Gasser group works and how they all want to help each other. Don't matter what class you're in. It don't matter. Run Ford, Chevrolet, Mopar, it don't matter. Everybody wants to help everybody. So everybody there is almost a crew member, basically, when you get there.
Folks, you that are watching along, please hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the Monday Morning Racer channel. If you're watching from CompetitionPlus.com on the Facebook page, no power hour tonight, but you're getting a special Between the Slicks with yours truly, the Monday Morning Racer, and the 2022 A-Gas champion from the Southeast Gassers Association, Leslie Horne, driver of the Chick Magnet back there. Also, speaking of A-Gas, right now on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, you can see the competition from the last race, the final race of 2022, the finals from Shadyside Dragway. The full elimination video is on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, and I take you through and explain how and why Leslie won the championship, how and why Gabriel won the race, and you get to see the action from multiple camera angles as well. So when you're done with this show, get on over to the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel and see the action there from AGAS. Also, I'm monitoring the comments. If you've got a question for Leslie, put it in. We'll be more than glad to ask for you to him of what is on your mind for the champ. So the Chick Magnet is back in the shop.
Yes.
And it had to get some chicken wings repaired, we could say. What all has been happening over the season, and what did you need to get this car ready to look pretty for PRI?
Yes. Well, as you just said, it is got invited to go to PRI. We're gonna have the car up there. What is it? The weekend of the 8th through the 10th,
Yes.
I think it is, of December. And the car, we have beat on it for basically 4 seasons now. These cars take a real beating. The quarter panel on the right-hand side had really cracked up really bad. So I had my buddy, little Dave, who painted the car for me. He fixed the quarter panel. We're just trying to get it look as good as we can get it look to get it to the PRI show in December. The car, as most of y'all know, this car was originally the Pale Rider. Shannon drove it. He pancaked it against the wall somewhere. I think it was in the 19th season. I ended up purchasing it somewhere in the 19th season, maybe the 18th season, anyway, 19th season, I think. So that side of it was pancakes, and make a long story short, it just popped out and broke out, and we just kept on touching it up, going with it. I wish we could have done more to it, but we just don't have the time to touch up all the little places. But that's what I'm getting it ready for.
Well, it's a race car, so it doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You got to have a little race wear even when it goes to PRI. It's a perfect place to showcase a great racing machine like yours, the Chick Magnet. Scott's Wires, Performance Wires, they are heavily involved with the Southeast Gassers Association. I see them regularly sharing what the Southeast Gassers Association is putting out, and they're having your car. Last year, they had the Rod Slinger. They are heavily invested. How important is Scott's Performance Wires to Sega?
They have come on. I think they come on, Lee, I may be wrong on this, in 2020. They sponsor us. They put up purse money for each class win. They got a great product. I mean, they really stand behind their product. And the one thing about them, I put wires on both my race cars at that time. I had 2, the Stud Muffin and the Chick Magnet. And he sent me the wrong wires for the Chick Magnet. This is a big block, had different boots. And so I told him, I said, I got the wrong wires. He said, well, I'll tell you what, just keep them for spares or do whatever you want to do with them, and I'm just going to send you another set. So didn't even charge anywhere about sending them back. So I paid it forward and gave them to one of my fellow racers that races with us now, not to call names, but I gave it to one of him, and he's doing good with them, and he likes them too, and he was happy to get them.
All right, there we go. So Curtis Carroll wants to know, what's the furthest track west they race at? So let's take historically first. What's the farthest west that the Southeast Gassers Association has gone?
Oh, let's see.
I'd imagine probably Indiana.
Indiana would have to probably be it.
Yeah, Indiana, Wagler Motorsports Park.
Right.
But that brings us, which already has dropped, to the 2023 schedule. I'm going to bring that up on the screen for you all that are watching, and looks really different from many of the schedules in the past. We've got Knoxville 2 times. Wagler Motorsports Park is not on the list, but we have the addition of Gulfport and only 10 races, not the 11. So, Champ, what do you think about the new schedule?
Well, the new schedule, Quayne and them work so hard that people don't understand how much goes into trying to schedule these events, because you have to schedule around other stuff that's going on in there at the same time. And, if we go to several places, we don't want to saturate that same place over and over and over. And if the spectator count is just not there, it's just hard for us to go. That's just the bottom line. If the spectators don't come out and support us, it's hard for us to go to those tracks. And, Wagner is one of my favorite tracks. I have one there. They are
beautiful facility.
Oh, yes. And they are probably by far the most accommodating to us. The first time I went, I'll never forget, they had somebody there walking around picking up cigarette butts and stuff and putting them in the trash can. So it was really just great to go there. And I hate we're not going back this year, but I understand it. Hopefully next year it maybe get put back on the list because Jeremy and them guys up there do a wonderful, wonderful job. And I like going there. And I think most of the other racers do too. It's kind of a part of the Southeast Gassers, but there again, you don't want to go to the same track year after year after year after year. So I'm kind of excited to see it a little bit. It dropped to 10 races. I get it. It helps a lot because when it gets towards the end and you're in a points battle and you have any engine problems and get parts problems, as all of us have, I have had people waiting on pistons for, 8, 10, 12, 14, weeks trying to get pistons, So actually, one time I messed this engine up and Gene just got a JE piston and bored it out and garbed the top of it and got a different rod stuck in there. So we run peg leg for like 3 races till we could get a piston in. But it gives you a little time in between them. I was looking at the schedule actually earlier, and the last, I think, 5 or 6 races, they're almost a minimum of 3 weeks in between each one of them. And a lot of them's almost a month. So that helps with getting stuff there to it. And it also cuts off the expense of one more race for the racers to get there. I mean, let's be for real. It's that $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. It now is tough to get all of it. Adds up. So,
well, we've got Shelby, North Carolina, 2 times, which is the norm. Shelby is like, with Shady Side Dragway, is like the home of the Southeast Gassers Association, the Indianapolis for Sega, if you will. But Knoxville gets 2 dates coming up in 2023. I have not had the pleasure of making a Sega race at Knoxville at the Knoxville Dragway. What is so special about this place that it gets 2? I've seen photos. I've heard. Describe it for me.
Well, when you go to Knoxville, there again, it's not that far for us. I know a lot of the guys have to travel a lot to get there, but the crowd seems to be more supportive. The crowd seem to turn out, and that brings up another thing, just like Ohio. Ohio's back on the list this year. And I mean, I don't know how to explain it, Lee, but the Ohio fans, I mean, they come out and really support us. I mean, rain or shine, so I'm glad to see it back on there. Yeah, we all hate to travel that far, and if you take Ohio and then take Gulfport, we're going, that's a long ways in between those two. But I'm glad to see the change, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm hoping that all of us gets to run the whole series, the whole race year. And I hope we all can make it. Is what I would like to see happen. But I know it's hard for everybody to make every one of them.
So to answer that question of how far west in 2023, you're looking at a western, northern, and southern date with Gulfport, Mississippi, and also Xenia, Ohio, Keel Care Raceway. Which one's furthest west? Well, I'm not looking at a map right now. They got to be pretty close. Ohio might just edge Gulfport, but that's how far west they're going. But certainly, Southeast Gassers Association drag racing is worth the drive. Make a road trip out of it. I mean, come on, Leslie. I went all the way to Nebraska for a race this year in my little hamster wagon out there. Okay, y'all can do a road trip and I'm from South Carolina going out to Nebraska to do a drag race. So
that's a pretty good little jump.
It is. So get in your car, make a road trip, make memories, destination to a drag race, and enjoy it.
Bring the family out.
Do it. It's the best way for it to be done. Sam Smith, my co-host on the Power Hour when it does air. Sam, hope you're doing well. He says, just cause I'm here doesn't mean I'm getting out of the chicken soup.
That's what I'm understanding. I mean, that's supposed to be happening. I was kind of hoping he would bring it and try it on for me tonight. I don't know if I'd like that or not, but I was kind of hoping he would have it now, Sam, but I don't know. He sounds like he's dragging his feet a little bit on ordering it. I think he's going to try to throw a quick one on us at the end and say, oh, they couldn't get it here in time, or maybe they didn't have one that was the right height and width or something. I don't know. We'll have to see, Sam, how that works out.
I do plan on wearing the chicken suit at PRI day 1, and we're going to get some good photos, I hope. As long as it comes in, and yes, it's got to fit right at least. And, I mean, kind of an odd structure.
I think you should have got an extra small.
Right, yeah, extra small. Yeah, extra small. The extra small is not going to work for me. But this car, it definitely worked all the way to a 2022 championship. What moment this year was a moment for you that you felt this is the year in A-Gas. What race, what time, when did it like, okay, this is clicking, and I think this one is going to be mine and no one else is going to get it?
What was the second to last race? Do you remember?
Second to last race
Before we went to Shady Side, I forgot what we
Oh
was
my
at.
goodness.
I just had a brain fade.
I cannot remember either.
But
I
anyway,
wasn't there.
It was there when me and Gabe run in the semifinals, I think, or finals, semifinals. It was very important. It was at Knoxville. I think it was at Knoxville. Yeah, it was at Knoxville. Yeah. That's right. And I went out there, and Logan happened to show up, and he was there. He rode up with my mom and spent the day up there. And I told him, I said, son, this is going to be the important one here. If we can get by Gabe here, it's going to be hard for him to catch us because at that point we'll have 25 points, which is 5 rounds on him, which is going to be almost impossible unless I decide to stay home and don't go to the races. And then we went out there, and unfortunately I cut a decent light on him. I think, it wasn't that great. It was an 07 to his 1.1 or something. And that's really all it took. And that's that was exciting. That was just like winning the race. So the next round I had a Slingshot, and I wanted to win, but I was already excited, and Slingshot just outrun me. It's just the bottom line. He just outrun me. I think we kind of left at the same time, real close, and he just had a little more motor than I did that day. So,
all right, you're champion. Great. Second championship in Southeast Gassers Association competition, though not the same category.
Yeah,
we still haven't had a back-to-back champion in the series yet. So that's still out there on the table. You're already talking about 2023. Got a lot of wins, got championships. You've done other things in motorsports. You're a very successful man outside of the driver's seat in the Chick Magnet. What keeps you doing this? What's the drive? Why?
The drive, to be honest with you, I think is the Southeast Gasser family feel. It's Quayne, all the effort that he puts into this thing. I mean, it's the thrill of driving, the stick shift cars, the ill handling, getting it down the track, bouncing off walls, trying to keep it in your lane. It's just, there's something about it you can't explain. It looks simple sitting in the stands, but it's not once you get in there. You're running 5 seconds, shifting gears. It's pretty exciting. And all the fans, I mean, my fan base and stuff, I get a little down, and I had a rough year this year that just went by. A lot of things was going on. And I had fans that made me little Matchbox cars. I got them here. And I had fans that would send me messages and just pump me up and tell me how much they appreciate me. And then I went to Ohio, and I mean, it was unreal. I mean, it's like I sold, I think, 50 or 60 shirts and probably give away that many. But just the fans kept talking to me because they'd followed me. They knew we was going through a lot here with our family and stuff. And that's what kind of kept me going. And that's what's going to keep me going into next year. I was a little apprehensive about next year. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to try to do the whole schedule. But right now, I think the way I'm feeling right now, I've got a lot of the hard stuff out of the way with the car. Everything is there. So really all we got to do is maintain it, as long as Gene stays with me and Stacy and Bob and Brian and Robin and the whole crew stays together. I mean, my plans right now is to try to hit every one of the races, so that's kind of my plans. And when I go, I don't plan to go out in first round. So that's the bottom line. So, and we got a new combination that we had worked on some during the mid-year last year. You know about it, Lee, and I actually messed around and messed it up on the dyno, but we're going to put it in. We're going to try to tame it and see how we do it. It makes a little more power than what we got. It's a little smaller cubic inch, and it's a lighter because it's aluminum block, so which in 10 messes with the handle of the car. I mean, I know y'all seen some of the videos I posted. It was third gear wheeling at 15, 18 inches, and you go taking 105, 110 pounds off of the nose of the car. It makes a big difference when you're making a little bit more power. So we chased a little bit. Brian got the hold on it. He did to get the car down to run into the low 530s. But we have been into the 20s. With the record being a 525 held by Ben Christopher. So anyway, I'm kind of looking forward to it. The whole season you're trying to get to the end. Oh God, I'm ready for this to be over with. I'm ready for it to be over with. I'm ready for it to be over with. Then when it's over with, you get home, you're like, man, what am I going to do this weekend? Man, I don't know. I'm ready to start back. So I know we'll all be excited come March and be ready to go. And I'm just looking forward to that.
we get a correction from Miss Robin Harris herself.
Okay.
Says Leslie Horne, that was Orangeburg, not Knoxville. So
Orangeburg. Oh, she's
yes,
right.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
Thank you.
We know which one it is. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
Very much so. So I was surprised when I see Gabriel Burrell come down the hill of Shadyside, and he is the winner. And I'm thinking to myself, but Winlight came on in the other lane, and I had to even explain it for the video of what's happening so people understand. Right. We got a question. Thomas Michael Anthony Seabolt says, question mark, Leslie, what are your thoughts on the current mandatory clutch use rule?
Yeah, I just about need to take a fifth on that one.
Let's first explain. In Southeast Gassers Association competition, you must manually press, depress the clutch, and shift. You got to touch it.
That is correct. I'm gonna skate around with it a little bit. That is their rules, and that's how they want you to drive. They do put a camera in your car. They do want you to push the clutch in and disengage the clutch. However, this is just 100% my opinion. That is an opinion call to where the clutch is being engaged and when it's not being engaged. It's also a judgment call if you get in a little bit of trouble and you first or second, you're out of control a little bit and your timing's off. Sometimes it happens in these cars. So I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to Southeast Gassers and Quain and all the crew there to talk about that. So
keep an outlook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna skate around that. I appreciate the question, I really do, but thank you. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to leave it at that one. But yes, currently, right now, the rules are yes, you've got to hit that clutch and shift at the same time. That's how it
Actually,
works.
did somebody call you and tell you to ask me that question? just
yeah. Thomas actually chimes in with the monkeys of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So yeah, there we go. There we go. Curtis chimes in and asks, who's your toughest matchup? I think it's a good question. There is a lot of tough cars out there in Southeast Gassers Association competition. I mean, I think of Kenneth Phillips, I think of Gabriel Burrell, I think of Ben Christopher himself. I mean, there's a lot of tough cars out there.
Oh, God, it's hard to say because all of them were, I know y'all hear me say this, all of them's tough, but it really is when you're talking about, I mean, there was one place, I forgot where exactly the top, I think 8 cars was less than 1,000th apart. I mean, so it makes it.
These old cars.
Yeah, it makes it really, whoever is on the tree a little bit better is usually who the winner is. And it don't take much. I mean, you got just a little bit of tire spin when you leave or a little bit of clutch slip. That's all it takes. Just like take me and Ben, for instance, at Shadyside, in the 3rd round. I'd been running, and I don't mind to say these times, it ain't no big deal. I'd been running, mid-30s all night. Well, me and Ben goes out there and run. I actually tree bend a little bit. So I done my job. I'm out. I don't usually get past when I tree somebody, but he did pull around me and pass me. I think he went a 36, and just that little bit of move that I had made me run a 40 or 41, and that's the difference of it. I got him a little bit on the tree, and then he come out and beat me by, I forgot what the margin was. It was so close that we didn't really know who had won at the end, but there again, he just outrun me. That's all it was to it. So that's a tough pill to swallow when you do your job, and you do a good job on the tree, and then you still get outrun. But like I say, that don't happen a whole lot, but that did happen.
So, by the way, Ben Christopher chimes in, and driver of the Happy Days, ladies and gentlemen, and says, wasn't me about the phone call being asked a question.
Yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah, it's that's just a tough one, So that's just something for a later date conversation. We'll
right. Look, I will say, love Southeast Gassers Association competition. Quain, the whole crew, do an exceptional job. But I will say this, as a fan of motorsports in general, the less judgment call rules you have, the better for a body and association. Look at NASCAR, for example. People get so upset when there is a judgment call. NHRA, if there's a judgment call, it's not clear cut. People get frustrated over that, and I think rightfully so. So the less opinion, judgment calls, I think it's better for any racing series. 2 wheels, 4 wheels, water, whatever. The less you've got, I think it's better. Not lobbying for anything. I'm just saying. I think it works out better. I think it works out better.
That's what you just said is spot on. I never looked at it like that. So you're exactly right.
Rick Tartagila, sorry, Rick, if I'm not getting it right, says, I'm amazed how fast the cars are running. So I think about it. My dad, Melvin Kraft, crew chief for Gene Cromer, way back in the day, and, you know, that car was updated. That car was brought up to speed to this day in time to mimic what it was back in the day, the 41 Moonlighter Willis. And even though the combination was in essence the same, it was a whole lot faster than what it was back in the day. It's amazing what these old school cars that are mimicking the rules of 1967 are doing in the modern day with the tracks, the tires, and the performance you are getting out of them. Does it astound you at times what this metal hunk can do with you behind the wheel?
It does. And, you know, how fast they've got. I mean, you're talking about running mid 520s, naturally aspirated, straight axle, no power adders, no electronics other than a 6AL box, a line lock, shifting gears. I mean, I know some of these other boys got all these fancy things that they drive down there running the mid 3s and all that stuff. They think, boy, that's slow. But I tell you, jumping one of these cars, it's a handful to do that. And I'll never forget when I messed up my motor when I first started, or engine, whatever you want to call it. When I first started in the stud muffin, that's when Billy Evers was working with me and Larry Floyd was working with me. And I told them, I said, when I go back, I said, I'm going to run in the 660s with a 292. They laughed at me. They said, you crazy. Ain't no way. Because at that time, I think Todd Oden, I mean, if you're on there, you chime in, Todd, I think he had the record. This was back in 18. I think he might have had the record at maybe a 690 something. And I'll never forget when I finally went a 699, you'd have thought, really, I'd really set the world on fire. Well, that following year in 19, I was able to move the record. I mean, it was 6 or 7 times. It was that one race at Aiken, they actually P&G'd me, tore me down a little bit. I think I moved it 4 or 5 times that one race. And I think when I come out of that race, it was at a 630s or something. We went that far with it. And then I think I finished up the year 19 and I was in the high teens, I think. I think it was 6 teens, 18, 19. And then Larry, you know, he took over the car in 2020. We ended up moving the record to a 608, which we held it a long time because Tim took it last year or the year before last at the finals. I think maybe Larry was a 608 with a 9. He was a 608 with a 2 or something. That's how close it was. So, yeah, it astonishes me how fast these cars has got. I mean, you're talking about a CS. You're talking about 10 pounds per cubic inch car. You're talking about a wagon that weighed almost 3,000 pounds. It was a 292. But now I did get the brake for the iron heads because we do get some brakes on certain things. I mean, you could talk about running that little car. And even with that old iron-headed 292, I was running teens. I was running 16s in that thing. And we're talking about as old school as you can get. We're talking about a stock 283 block. I mean, you can't get no more old school than that. So, and then you come up to A-gas. And when I went into A-gas, I think in 2020, the first year, I think Kenneth had the record for 5 years at a 549 or 548 or 549, you know, and now here we are, 2 years later, we're in the mid-20s, you know, and it's not just one car. It's not just Leslie and his big block. I mean, it's, you know, Gabe's right there. You know, Gabe's went in the high 20s. You know, he's a Ford setup. You know, Kenneth went a 27 at Orangeburg. You know, he's a small block setup. I mean, it's just all the board. You got me and Christopher, 25. He's a small big block, if that makes any sense. But I mean, so there's several different combinations that is right there in the hunt, and that's what makes it tough. Going back to somebody's question about who's my toughest competitor, I mean, Ben Christopher is probably right up there with any of them. Ben, you don't never know. Ben will throw a Hail Mary at it, and he'll drop a number that'll make your head spin, you know, and then he might come back. You might not do it again for, you know, another race or two, but you just don't never know about Ben. And then Gabe, you know, heck of a driver. He'll cut a line on you. Kenneth Phillips, they ain't really nobody that cuts no better line than Kenneth Phillips. I mean, I can name all of them. Rob Walden has come so far in that 409. Strychnine, it just blows my mind. And then you got Quayne out there and his little doodle bug, you know, he can cut a light on you. Quayne can drive a little bit. I mean, he's getting old and slow, but
it almost got completely squished.
Yeah, he almost turned that little bug over. But anyway, that's just an eye opening. That just to show you how hard and how fast things can happen in these A-gas cars. So anyway, yeah, it is astonishing how fast we're going. You talk about B-gas cars that's running A-gas numbers 2 years ago. I mean, B-gas, we're talking 8 pounds per cubic inch. I mean, so these cars are heavy. My car is 2,760 pounds is what it weighs with this engine that's in it, you know, and I'm actually 25 pounds over. So, I mean, that's a lot to be pushing up through there, especially a big box. You know, there was a discussion a while back about aerodynamics and all that stuff, and everybody said you had to have a Nova to run fast. But 055 done pretty good.
And glad to see that. Nothing against a Chevy 2.
That's right.
Nothing against, but anybody wants diversity and to see different styles of bodies out there for sure.
But think about it like this, Lee. If you was going to build an A-gas car and you was going to build a Chevrolet, what's your choices? I mean, he don't let the Camaros come in. You know, he does let the Mustangs come in, but up to 66. You're 66. So if you're going to build a Chevrolet, you don't have a whole lot of choices unless you're going to build a big car. You know, like Todd Oden's, 58, the 55 Chevrolet. I mean, there's not a whole lot to choose from. I mean, you got Bill Wilson with the Studebaker truck. I mean, if you think about it, Nova is a little smaller, a little shorter, a little closer to the ground.
That's right. That's right. Definitely a bit of an advantage. Folks, this is the 2022 Southeast Gassers Association A-Gas champion, Leslie Horne. We're about to take a break, get your questions in. We're going to come back right here from the chicken coop, as I've been calling it, in just a moment, right here on Between the Slicks. As we go to break, hit that like button, share this broadcast, and also subscribe to the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. Power-Built Tools exemplifies innovation in the tool industry. From hand tools, power tools, and even tool storage. Check out powerbuilt.com for Power-Built Tools. And remember, use promo code MMR15 for 15% off at purchase. So we had an individual ask you, what is your toughest competitor out there in the A-Gas category? In Southeast Gassers Association competition, in A-Gas, what is a car that you admire the most beyond yours that is the most beautiful, honestly, here in the shop, the Chick Magnet? Which one do you like the most?
Whew. That's a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with the uniqueness and the car, and I'll say it's going to be Rob Walden's car, the 33 Willis with the stack fuel injection, the 409. And not only that, for what Rob has done with the car in the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, he's moved mountains with the 409. And, Rob is an excellent driver too. I mean, he'll cut a light on you in a minute too. So I'd have to say probably his car, but there's, Dean Jonas's car is a work of art, legendary, worked with Tommy Mooney for his whole life almost. And that's a work of art. Ben Christopher's car is super, super nice. I mean, and also don't forget about the new Corvette that just come in too with Alan Galton and Dave Baustein. I know butchering it. Sorry, Dave. But, that's a beautiful car too. So I don't know. There's several. But as far as the uniqueness of it, I would have to go with probably Rob Walden, because there's no way I could say the Frog. No way I could say the Frog.
No way. By the way, it's the Executioner.
Yeah. I forgot his name. We done called it so many different names. It's been called everything under the sun. Kermit.
By now, Quayne does need to stick a Kermit doll in the.
Yeah, he does. He's got when he rides around in his little scooter with him.
So, hey, you out there, what is your favorite, other than the Chick Magnet, A-Gas car out there in Southeast Gassers Association competition? Matter of fact, just put your favorite car in. Like for me in A-Gas, I really love Gabriel Burrell's car. It being a sedan, I'm a Ford guy. He's got Ford Power, John Causey, and John Causey does stuff in like Mountain Motor with the Ford guys. It's pretty cool to see that scene and that connection happening. And is out. The gold, it looks really, really cool out there.
It does fit in real good. And the gold, whenever he painted that car, I called him as soon as I seen it. And you can ask him. I called him. I said, you couldn't have got a better color for the car. It did turn out great. And then John Causey, I mean that's enough said. You don't need, I mean, John's John. I mean, just to have people like John, Gene, I mean, all the engine builders that comes in, but just to have people like that to be involved with us at Southeast Gasser is just, it makes me happy to see whenever Gabe wins, or I win, whoever wins. I mean, I'm ecstatic. Whoever beats me, I'm excited for them for beating me because I know I didn't lay down for them. So anyway, that's kind of the way I look at it.
Now, being the A-Gas category, you're technically at the top of Sega Racing. You're the fastest cars on the property, the big boys, if you will. And that's not to, slight any of the other competitors, right, but y'all are last on competition and eliminating for a reason. And with the position of champion in 2022, and you also seem to have a bit of a role of speaking for the totality of the organization at times as that racer and connected to Plain and others. What do you think about, as you mentioned, Fulton Racing engines and Parr Racing engines and John Causey Racing engines? You've got Tim Hall out of Abbeville, South Carolina, building his own engines, whipping the field and winning in CGAS this year many times over and as a champion.
Yes. Yeah. Tim Hall is, I ain't going to say he's an exception to the rule. Tim Hall puts in the time. Tim Hall puts in the effort. His whole family puts in the effort. That's a family organization. They do run on a small budget, and the stuff that he does, what a lot of people don't understand, that is an iron-headed small block. I mean, he's built himself with, and he'll tell you, I mean, with used parts that he picks up from other racers, he'll put it together to make it run. I'm proud of Tim. I'm proud that he is with the Southeast Gassers. I mean, I'm proud of everything that he does. He's one of the great ones, and there's many of them with the Southeast Gassers. And I mean, I can't say enough about Southeast Gasser. I can't say enough about Quayne putting this organization together so we can go have fun. And not only the fun, it's not even only the drag racing. Yeah, it started out as a show, and now it's become a competition because it is serious. We do get serious about it. But, we do that. We get that burnout box. We get up there. We stage up. Yeah, I ain't gonna like you for 5 seconds, but we get to the other end. I promise you, there ain't not a one of us that none of us couldn't call each other in the middle of the night and say, hey, I need you to come get me. And that's the whole mentality, it's not just A-Gas, it's the whole mentality of the whole Southeast Gassers. I mean, the hospitality, we've talked about it on one of the other ones, getting to eat. I mean, Billy Wilson, goodness, he feeds us like you wouldn't believe. He loves to cook, and it's just amazing to have a organization to where you can walk in, kids can walk in, everybody can walk in, and they can come up and talk to us. They can sit in the cars. That don't happen to some of these other ones. Some of these other ones, the people want to give you the time of day. They got you roped off. Don't even come around my car. Don't take no pictures. Don't look. We don't care. We want you to be involved. We want the kids to be there. We want it to be a family event. We want it to be a vacation that y'all went and watched a race at, and y'all come back time and time, and y'all plan it year after year after year. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for those repeats, and all those repeats, we're looking for more spectators to get there so we can do this, because without the spectators, none of us can go. It can't function. So this year we got whipped. This year bad. Southeast Gasser. I mean, it rained. There's a laughing joke about my rig. I would have it washed the day before I leave, and every time I washed it, it would rain. Didn't matter where we went, it would rain. Even the shady side, which is 30 miles away, it rained on the way there. But yeah, it just beat us up this year. And it's like I was so let down, but so excited at Shady Side, because for one, I was let down because I do feel like it was going to be the hugest one ever. I mean, we had so much stuff. We had Gene as the Grand Marshal. We had Josh there with the Moonshiners. We had the guy with the General Lee there that built all the General Lees. We had so much stuff there for the family to do, and then that rain comes. It gets you down, but then you got to look back and look at your blessings of all the people that come, and they were still over 1,400 and some people that showed up and paid in the rain for that event. That is, kudos to those fans, for coming and doing that, because, it was nasty. It rained, and it rained, and it rained. So I was just astonished at how many people did show up and enjoy the show. And, that makes all us drivers want to do it more. It makes us want to go back. I mean, the fan support is what we got to have, and that's what Southeast Gassers has got to have. So anyway.
Thank you, fans. Yes, and the fans at Shadyside, they definitely turn out for the Southeast Gassers Association racing there. I know when I'm traveling, okay, I got to get there before like 10 a.m. or there's this long line out of Shadyside for sure getting into that place. So thank you, fans, for supporting Sega. All right, your 2022 champion. You've got another championship in the series, multitude of wins, but not that you've got to dig down deep. We might have to do that at a later time because I do plan on coming back. We're going to do a shop tour. We've got some pretty cool stuff in this shop with some cool stories here at the Chicken Coop. But I think you're a champion in life, honestly, Leslie. You've had some bumps in the road, and here you are now. You're done well for yourself, and you've won in racing, but it seems like you've also won in life. For everybody watching out there, what do you got to do to turn it around?
I don't know. I've been fortunate. I've been blessed the whole way. I have been through a bunch of knocks in the road. I mean, all the way back to, family, getting divorced when I was only 10 years old. When my dad was, he liked to drink a beer or two every 2 or 3 minutes, and so I don't know. I've been fortunate that a lot of stuff that I've got into, I've been able to pull through it and do good. Even like with motorcycle racing. I mean, I ended up winning championship 95 with that. And, I mean, I don't know. It's like somebody has had their hand on my shoulder, everything that I went through, even in my dark times, down times, in places that I don't even want to really talk about being. It was like I had the ability that I was gave the ability to be able to talk and get along with folks. Don't matter their creed. I mean, it really don't matter the walk of life, and that's one of the blessings that I have had and been able to do. And I've rolled it over into my business that I do now. Is real estate, and I want people to feel comfortable with me, and I want them to know that I would never do nothing to them intentionally that's wrong, and that's just a mentality that I take in everything that I do. I don't never want to, do nobody wrong at nothing that I do. So anyway, going back to Southeast Gassers, I had Sean McElmore one time. I hope you're on here, Sean. I was trying to stage up, and I was a little on there, and he had rolled through the light, and I was waiting for him to back up. Well, he got mad. He thought I was trying to burn him down, and I was like, Sean, big old boy, big old muscular boy. He was all mad at me. And I was like, Sean, I don't know what I did to you, but anyway, that stuff like that bothered me because I try not to intentionally do nothing like that. Now, do I get up there and play games now? Yeah, I'm comfortable, and I do like to play games with my friends, they are my friends, and I do it as a friendly thing. I'm not doing it, hey, I'm mad at you. So anyway, but I don't know I don't know how to explain that. I don't know why God gave me the ability to get through life like he has, but he has, and he's blessed me in so many ways that we could sit here and talk about it all night. And I don't think we got that much time.
We do not have that much time. Matter of fact, the time we've got with Leslie, it's come at an end. Dude, congratulations on the 2022 championship in A-Gas of the Southeast Gassers Association competition. I know you definitely want more in 2023. Thank you for letting me come to the shop. Folks, not done with Between the Slicks. We're going to take a break, come right back to Drag News, update you on what's happening in the world of drag racing right here on Between the Slicks.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you.
So, folks, right now, take a break. We're going to let Leslie go roost. The drag racing life and the RV life seem to go hand in hand like nitromethane and superchargers. And when you are traveling through the Lone Star State and you're needing work done on your RV, well, DFW RV Center is your star to contact. Folks, what's happening in the world of drag racing? The biggest news I've got for you is really from the world of Funny Car Chaos. Chris Graves, owner and promoter of Funny Car Chaos, has been dropping bombshells concerning 2023 and what is ahead for Funny Car Chaos and also Nitro Chaos. So what's happening? Well, there you can see on the screen the current schedule for 2023, kicking off the season with the Funny Car Classic, the big one at the Texas Motorplex, where we can expect well over 50, possibly well over 60. Maybe we'll even get over that 70 mark, which we were close to a couple of years ago. 70-something funny cars. It is the drag racing place to be and see this spectacular show. We make a return to State Capitol Raceway in Louisiana. They loved that show last year. We're going back. Also, back out to Odessa, Pinwheel Nights Raceway, Eddyville for a double header. Nitro Chaos will be there. Funny Car Chaos will be there, all on the same weekend. Cordova, it will host a points earning event this coming year, 2023. Kearney Raceway Park. Yes, it's Kearney. It's not Kearney. It's Kearney. And then July 28th, 29th, Albuquerque Dragway gets its first ever Funny Car Chaos event. They're going to be celebrating their 60th anniversary there at Albuquerque Dragway in New Mexico. Also, we move on. The next event is a huge event. Right after the Albuquerque event, MIR, Maryland International Raceway, as we have been saying, Funny Car Chaos goes east for the first time ever, kicking off an exclusive 5-year deal for being the only East Coast date for the upcoming 5 years for Funny Car Chaos there at Maryland International Raceway, a world-class facility for sure. And then Mocan Dragway will host Funny Car Chaos for its Labor Day Classic weekend, and the finals are still to be announced. In that, we also have a situation where Nitro Chaos, that's where you can burn, any vehicle can show up. They just have to burn 80% nitro or up. So, Top Fuel Dragster, come on. Funny Car, come on. Altered, come on. A Fuel Dragster, come on. Gasser on nitro, come on, which technically wouldn't be a gasser, I guess. Nonetheless, it'd be a fueler, maybe. I don't know. Anything with 4 wheels and burning nitro 80% up, you can come. We have on the list Eddyville, obviously as mentioned, Mocan. Those have been the staples, but also a new addition, 3 Nitro Chaos races in 2023. Edgewater, out there near Cincinnati, they are going to host a Nitro Chaos. So the Chaos brand will go its furthest west ever, being New Mexico, Albuquerque, and also its furthest east ever next year there at Maryland International Raceway, and make its first visit ever to the state of Ohio. What a spectacular year that Sega has got coming up, that Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos has got coming up. Also, in other news, definitely stay clued in to Drag Illustrated. They keep dropping more of their invited superstars of Pro Mod to their World Series of Pro Mod race down there at Bradenton Motorsports Park coming up in 2023. Names like, obviously, Stevie Fast Jackson, Frankie the Madman Taylor, excuse me. You've got Al Belushi was just invited. You've got people like Chris Rini and Tommy Franklin and Jim Halsey and Melanie Salemi and many more to be invited. Keep your eye on that. And more people are coming on board to support that race, such as even Redline Oil. Keep an outlook on how that race continues to grow and develop, become bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for Between the Slicks tonight. Thank you for joining me, the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft, right here from the Competition Plus Facebook audience and the Monday Morning Racer platforms. On the way out, hit the like button for me. Share this program as well. And if you have not subscribed to the Monday Morning Racer on YouTube, go there and subscribe and watch great action such as the A-Gas competitors of the Southeast Gassers Association competing in the finals at Shady Side Dragway. A full elimination video is there on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. To each and every one of you, have a happy Thanksgiving. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal. Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils-infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.